I know.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Italy show. Welcome back to our Italy adventures.
Next stop, Tuscany.
So at this point, we had arrived in Tuscany. Told you guys about the pool. So the next day, we were able to go for a swim. The water was really nice.
And it was still a little bit windy, but not that much.
Yep.
In the morning. So there were a lot of leaves and stuff in the pool.
So they have opening hours at this residence that we were at. We got there and by the time in the morning it was already cleaned and all the leaves were out and everything. Because the night before the wind was blowing pretty hard. It was actually pretty crazy. The first day we kind of just hung out. We just enjoyed not having to go anywhere.
Yeah, I continued to read my book, which was really nice because I had like a longer time to just read.
Yep.
And you put your towel on your shoulders and on your head because you wanted to make sure that you don't get burned.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that it didn't get any worse. So anytime we were in the sun, I kind of covered my face and shoulders, and that kind of worked. And at that point in time, I don't think we had after sun.
No.
Yeah, so we basically hung out at the pool and enjoyed our downtime, enjoyed not having to drive anywhere.
And rescued a lot of bees. Conrad rescued them from the pool.
There were like a bunch of bees around the pool, and they would often get stuck in the water and try and swim out, and we walked up to the pool and we could see some, so we grabbed the net and pulled some out, and then I basically was doing that for half an hour or so because some would keep landing in there. Gross creatures like grasshoppers and what were the other ones? I think it was grasshoppers and crickets, and so I basically just tried to rescue the bugs that fell into the water because they couldn't get out by themselves. So we basically hung out at the pool. Lena can do that better than I can. I am not so good at just laying there and doing nothing. I feel like well, you're not doing nothing, but my book wasn't that interesting. Let's just say that. And generally that's the case. I can't sit by the pool for that long. It was nice to be in the sun a little bit.
So yeah, then Conrad went back to the apartment and he brought me some coffee, which we made in those bialettis.
So in Italy, I talked about how they don't really drink coffee, generally more so espresso. And so you can get a little stovetop coffee. How did they call it? A coffee pot or something like that? You put water in the very bottom, and then on top of that you put coffee, and what happens is the water gets heated up and goes through the coffee and goes up the spout and then comes out at the top. It gets collected in a reservoir. I looked it up how to do it properly, and so I made some coffee.
Which was really good.
Yep.
And then in the evening we went for a walk because we thought that the sunset would be really nice because we had such a good view. So we went for a walk and took some pictures of the sunset and the surrounding area.
So we were at the top of one of these hills, so then we just went for a walk just to get out a little bit. Kind of saw the sun setting, so then we went to the next little hill, and once we got to the top of the hill with the sun behind it, it was a really nice sunset, and there were also a bunch of flies, really big flies. I don't know if they're horse flies or what they are. There were a bunch of those.
And then we wanted to eat dinner outside, but I think it was still too windy, so we had dinner in our apartment. Just something very simple, basic. It was good, and we just enjoyed not having to cook.
And then the next day we did more of the same. It was basically sitting by the pool. There weren't very many guests, so generally when we went to the pool it was nice to just hang out there. Yeah, in the distance you could see the mountains, and the mixture of just the scenery in general was pretty nice. But it was one of the better parts of our trip. We just got a chance to relax, our first downtime where we didn't have to jam pack our day full.
And also to reflect on what we experienced the days before, all the driving, everything. So it was just downtime to relax and to enjoy Italy.
For sure.
So the next day, on the day we were leaving, we had breakfast outside. I always wanted to have breakfast or dinner outside, but that day it was really good because it wasn't that windy anymore. And then we packed our stuff.
Obviously when packing, you have to make sure everything's a huge mess and everything's strewn about. So, pretty sad that we're leaving today. This is what we'll be leaving behind. Such a nice view. And it's so quiet here, so relaxing. And in here we find that strange woman again.
I'll follow you.
I still think she doesn't know that we're here. I'll just keep a distance and then Hope that she doesn't realize. Yep, and then on the way out we went shopping. So on the rear of our car, the sprayer for the windshield wiper doesn't work. So I asked Lena to get some cloths to wipe it down with and some glass cleaner, because it's like the only way that we can clean it at that point. And we got that, and then we cleaned the window a little bit. And then there was the grocery store, and then directly attached to it there was a cafe. And I think we looked at the sign and it said you have to be a patron, whatever. And so Lena bought a cappuccino because she wanted one anyways. And then I went in there to use the bathroom, and I thought, oh, I'll ask where the bathroom is, and then I'll offer them money. I'll pay for an espresso or something. So I asked them where the toilets are, and my Italian's really bad. And she's like, oh, it's over there. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I take out €1. And, oh, no. And I think she might have said something about Lena having gotten a cappuccino or something like that, but I didn't know how she would connect us to. Maybe just because we're both tourists. And
yeah, maybe.
But yeah, I couldn't give her any money. I felt really bad, you know. I mean, Lena bought a cappuccino, but still, I felt like I needed to buy something as well to use the bathroom. But they were really nice. Generally, up until that point, there were really nice people everywhere we went.
And I think the part we've been in Tuscany wasn't really touristy, at least this part. And so maybe they figured because we were tourists. I don't know.
Yeah. Are there parts of Tuscany that are more touristy?
Yeah, I think the one we've been to.
After our awesome time in Tuscany, so we couldn't stay there that long, we went to the ferry to take us from Naples to Sicily. And so the drive down was basically what we had to do on that day where we checked out of our place in Tuscany. So we had to leave the apartment at 10. I think we had a 4-hour drive, and we had 8.5 hours to get there. They wouldn't let you in onto the ferry until I think it was 6:30 p.m., right?
6, but yeah.
Yeah, 6:30. So we left there. Now she's waving. I think she thinks she's part of our crew. Yep, and then on the way out we went shopping. There's this strange woman again. She's just like standing by the car. It's so weird. She always knows where we are. And immediately after, I saw some awesome spots to take pictures. I don't know if they're necessarily awesome. It looked really nice to me because it's just far stretches of land where there are a couple trees, and it just looks nice. There's nothing comparable that I had seen up until that point.
So we just stopped here on a random hill because Conrad wants to take some pictures from the scenery. So he is just standing in the middle of the street taking pictures. And now he's coming back.
Usually we stopped at normal gas stations, and actually the nice thing about Italy is you don't have to pay for the bathroom. In Germany you have to, usually if you go to a stop where there's a gas station and restaurant, you have to pay to use the bathroom. So you pay €1 to use the bathroom, but then they give you a coupon for 50 cents for the store. Essentially you're paying €1 to use the bathroom because a lot of the times I don't buy anything from the store anyways, but the coffee is always good. Coffee was always good.
We almost always got a coffee when we stopped, so we had a lot of coffee on driving days.
Yeah. So then we drove and drove and drove.
And then when we entered Naples, it was crazy.
All hell broke loose. So once you get in busy cities in Italy, it's crazy. So you're kind of just driving however you see fit. And then you have scooters passing you on both sides. So it's sometimes a little bit stressful when you have scooters passing you on both sides. So then we parked outside of the port for a bit just to check if we were in the right spot and to check where we wanted to go. So we waited outside for a bit. I waited at the car and then I went in. Did you walk long?
No, just 5 to 10 minutes, I think, because I just saw a sign to Sicily. And then I asked this guy if we are already allowed to go in and park there. Yeah. And then I went back and then we drove into the port. So we arrived at the port. It's a little bit confusing because it's huge. There's so many ferries and different agencies. But now we found the right one.
We drove in, it was very confusing, and immediately I noticed an old, I think it was 1980s Ferrari. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool, seeing, an old Ferrari, vintage Ferrari in Italy. We were there between 6 and 6:30?
No, I think
even earlier?
Yeah, I think it was even 4:50 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So we figured, who cares? We'll just go in and try and see if we can just hang out there. And they were going to let us in at 6:30. At some point, we needed a bathroom, or at least I did. I found the strange lady again.
Buongiorno.
Apparently she speaks some Italian. So I just went to the, we're at the ferry right now, and we're just waiting to get let on. It's gonna be another half an hour. I think we've been here for half an hour already. So I asked if there's a bathroom, so I had to go back out. Well, a couple of funny things happened. When I went in, I realized I didn't have any money to pay for the bathroom. There's like a turnstile. You had to put money in to get through. And on the way out, everybody told me where to go. A couple people told me, and then I was like on the sidewalk, and all of a sudden the sidewalk kind of ended, but there were chains to keep you in. So this guy was like, oh, jump over. And so I went to the bathroom, didn't have any money, so I just hoped that somebody spoke English. Asked the guy, I was like, oh, hey, my girlfriend has all my money. He's like, oh, no problem. Just lets me through, like just pushes the turnstile a little bit forward so I can squeeze through. So I did that. And then on the way back, the people, they check your tickets or whatever, and they did that on the way in, and they gave us tickets. So I went back to them, so I had to go through basically two people. The first guy asked me where my ticket was, and then I said that I didn't have it, that it's in the car, and he had to radio to his buddy, I guess up here where we are now with the car, to check. I don't even know what they checked because they didn't check my...
They didn't ask me anything, so...
They didn't check my name, and they didn't ask me for my license plate number or anything like that, so I have no idea what they radioed to the guy. I guess maybe, is there somebody that just went to the bathroom or something like that? So I got through, and then I talked to the next guy who also didn't remember me. It was funny because I thought they would remember me and be like, oh, okay, it's you, you know, just go through. Nope, they didn't remember me. They asked me, both of the people asked me again for my ticket. And then the last guy, I told him, oh, hey, those guys over there just asked and they radioed. I go through. And then he said, yeah, it's fine. Your ticket, like put it in your pocket. He said it to me in Italian and I could barely understand it. Some of it is similar to German, so I had luck. I was lucky. Been spending too much time in Germany.
Yeah, so when I went through after you, like he already asked me when I went out, do you have your ticket with you? And I said, yes. And then he said, okay, then go.
He must have remembered me.
Yeah.
So now we're here, and the ship is there. So usually I look around and see where people are from, because you can see on their license plate the country. I saw that there were a couple of people from Germany, but not that many. Most people were from Italy. There was one guy, and he says to us, it's nice to be standing next to another German or something like that. And I'm like, I didn't want to tell him my whole story, so I was just like, yeah, okay. And then he chatted with us for a bit, but then I think he thought we were weird, because I was standing there and in my head thinking we were kind of busy with other things and trying to figure out, okay, do we have everything? When are we going to get let onto the boat and all that kind of stuff. And then we pretty quickly went into the car, and after we chatted with him for a bit, the next thing that happened was we got ready for boarding. At some point it was our time to drive onto the boat, and we were one of the first cars, so we were right at the front. And so you're driving behind the car in front of you. There's this part where you just drive a little bit down, and then all of a sudden the car just stopped in front of me, and they turned the car off, and I was, okay, I guess we're parking here.
I was really scared, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was like, we need to go further. We cannot leave our car like this.
Okay, so we just parked, we just got onto the ship, and it's super tight. I don't know if you could tell. And so this is how tight it is on this side. I mean, you open the door, but you have to be pretty careful to scratch it and whatever. And we're parked on an incline, and then we're facing the back of the ship or the front. Who knows? I hope my e-brake holds. I have it in gear, but still. Yeah, so we're just getting everything unpacked. Yeah, we're just taking the necessities, staying on the ship tonight, and then we'll be back for our car. There were signs on the sides of the wall that said, turn your car alarm off. I don't know how to turn my car alarm off, but I don't want to leave my car unlocked. So I asked some random guy that also had his car there. Oh yeah, no, just leave it. Doesn't mean anything. Yeah, but it says on the wall, and he looks over, his car alarm off. I think that's for old cars or something like that. Yeah, but what do I do, with my non-old car? And he was like, oh, I don't know, because I don't want to leave it unlocked. Oh, no, don't do that. Okay. So I asked somebody else, there was like a worker there. He also spoke a little bit of English, but it's the same thing. I explained to him, it says, turn your car alarm off. Oh no, nobody will hear that, or something, I don't know. I couldn't get my point across, so I just left it, hope for the best.
It really felt like nobody ever cared about, the alarm. They just put it on a sign, but nobody cared, like ever.
It wasn't just a sign, it was pretty large lettering on the side of the car bay. You walk out of the carport, we went into the elevator, and I think it was in the elevator where we first saw this sign. It tells you what's on each floor. It said check-in services on the second floor. So we went there, and we got out, and we asked, and they're like, oh no, your room's on the 5th floor. And we were like, yeah, but we have to check in. No, go to the 5th floor. Okay. But it literally says floor 2 is check-in services and information.
Yeah,
and
where
all
you
that kind
get
of
your key and your card.
Yeah, the other floors had restaurants or a shop. So I was thinking, you know, everybody goes to floor 2 to do that, and then, you know, they go to the other floors. We then went up, and there were these people with small little booths. So I thought, there's no way that they have all of our information, that they're going to want to see our passport and all that, and then also have all the keys. But nope, we just came up to them, and then they gave us a key. I'm like, why is there a sign that says check-in services on floor 2 if it's not on floor 2? Anyway, so they have...
Check-in service is everywhere.
Yeah, so we got a little key card. Pretty modern. That was really nice. Went into the room. The strange lady! And the room was pretty small. I mean, what can you expect? But other than that, it was okay. We had bunk beds.
That was pretty funny.
News update. There's a second bed.
Oh yeah, we watched the sunset.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we went up to the top deck and watched the sunset, which was pretty cool. Took a look at Naples from what we could see.
And also we've
Ferries.
never been on such a ferry, not that often. So it was also interesting to like explore the ferry. First we we had a pizza because we were really hungry.
Yeah, there was a restaurant on board. Decided we wanted pizza, so we went to the restaurant. So the strange lady has found us, and she just kind of sat down at our table.
And I have the key to the room.
She's the key to our room. What the hell?
Dum, dum, dum.
What a creeper. I think she might be a weirdo. Why are you so weird?
I'm not weird.
Most normal person ever. The pizza was all right. I mean, it was on a ferry. So we had pizza and a beer. And then after that, we were pretty tired. We basically turned in, went into our bunk beds, and Lena fell asleep pretty quickly. I think she was reading for
so tired.
This is our sleeping situation. I am sleeping with a laptop and a camera, and Lena is actually sleeping.
I'm ready to sleep. Good night.
Okay, bye. And then at some point I was like, I'm just gonna call it a night. I just slept right through.
Yeah, the same for me. I slept so well. And I didn't expect that we would sleep so well because I thought, in a bunk bed, maybe I fall down or something like that, but nope.
Or I thought maybe you would feel the rocking of the boat, but it's a pretty big ferry. The window's a bit dirty, I can't really... Oh, there it is. This is how fast we're going. I don't know if you can tell at all of how fast we're going, but that's how fast the waves are moving away from us. The end. And we woke up at 6 a.m. because we wanted to make sure that we were at our car on time because we were docking at 7:30 and we wanted to get our stuff packed and have some breakfast and then leave. Yeah, so that was a good time in Tuscany and a fun adventure to the ferry.
And a good night on the ferry. Okay, bye.